Dragon Ball enthusiasts unexpectedly cross the world of Dragon Balls and become Vegeta. No. I am not a tragic tower, and I don't want to be that eternal Beilao Er. From Super 1 to Super 4, from Super Sai Shen to Self-Extreme, I want everything. One step slow, step by step, step by step. Whether you are Sun Wukong or Kakarot. Me. Vegeta is the protagonist. Chapter 1. I am Vegeta. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dragon Ball World. AG 762. Fraser's 79 planetary base. A man with black hair towering like flames and a cold and proud appearance was walking on a pedestrian walkway at the base. Hi, Vegeta. Suddenly, a person with purple skin covered in bumps stood in front of him with a catfish face. What's wrong? You look very miserable. Ha ha ha. Are you? Chio-e. Vegeta looked at the figure ahead with a hint of doubt. I heard that Late Eyes and Naba are both dead. TSK. I don't know who's so powerful as to beat the invincible Scion people to pieces. Chio-e said, gloating. Purple skin monster, what are you trying to stop me for? Vegeta ignored Chio-e's mockery. Anyway, it wasn't her current self who was beaten on Earth at that time. Yes. That's right. The current Vegeta is no longer the pitiful and proud eternal Beilao Er in the original Dragon Ball, but a glorious traveler. Although he himself didn't know how he traveled, he was still working overtime typing on the keyboard in front of the company computer. Somehow, I fell asleep in a daze, and when I opened my eyes again, I found myself transformed into a Vegeta, covered in scars and soaking in the liquid medical cabin. Sigh, it's probably a sudden death at the workstation, a sad social animal. After a brainstorming session, I also accepted my current identity. Anyway, as a second-year anime enthusiast, being able to be reborn in this Dragon Ball world is definitely a beautiful thing. The new Vegeta can only accept reality. However, in the original book, Vegeta can only be used as a foil for Monkey King. Vegeta is always a supporting role. Obviously, as a Scion Prince, she is always inferior to a junior soldier. Perhaps it's because Sun Wukong is the protagonist, the son of luck in the Dragon Ball world, and the biological son of Old Bird. The only time in the original work that Sun Wukong was beaten was during the invasion of Earth before, and later on, whether it was during the time of Frisa, the artificial humans, Shalu, or even the demon Byo. Vegeta has always been overshadowed by Sun Wukong, which is difficult to evaluate. As for whether this world is Dragon Ball Super Time or Dragon Ball GT Time and Space, it is currently unknown. Anyway, I'm not interested in the title of 10,000 years old second, let's leave it to Sun Wukong in the future. Moreover, as travelers, they all come with their own golden fingers, which are simply data panels that display their own attributes. As for other uses, they have not been discovered yet. Character, Vegeta, race, Scion, combat power, 72,000. Click to expand the remaining content, 72,000. Surprisingly, the combat power is 3 times higher than that of the same period of the original works Vegeta. Is it because I traveled here? Sigh. There is still a column of text below this combat power. Click to expand the remaining content. Vegeta opens according to the text prompts on the data panel. This is a transformation skill, Super Saiyan 1. This skill can be used with 3 million combat power without any other conditions. Is it that as long as my combat power reaches 3 million, I can transform into Super Saiyan 1, without any other conditions? This means that I don't need to be angry like other Saiyans to transform. This is very helpful for me, because I am not the original Vegeta anymore, and my thoughts and mentality are also very different, let alone nothing that would make me very angry. The main purpose next is to increase combat power. By the way, you can find the Elder of Namexing to stimulate your potential, but I don't know how much combat power you can increase. Dragon Balls also need to be obtained. If he didn't go to the Nemesis, Sun Wukong and his companions might all die at the hands of Frisa. Frisa, the big boss of the Nemesis chapter. My combat power is currently not a match for Frisa, and the difference in combat power is still too great. While thinking, Vegeta walked through the passage of the base and unexpectedly encountered the purple skin monster. Chou-E. Who was blocking the way? Purple skin monster. Chou-E was clearly shocked by this title. How can it be repaired? Vegeta, how dare you call me that? If you have something to do or nothing to do, just get out of here, said Vegeta impatiently. Damn it, Vegeta, you're too arrogant. Originally, King Frieza was very angry about your unauthorized attack on Earth. However, King Frieza is magnanimous and has forgiven your reckless behavior because your discovery is very valuable. And then, Vegeta looked at the purple skin monster in front of her and said speechlessly. He is very happy. Perhaps he can live forever. Thanks to you all, King Frieza has now gone to Namike to search for the Dragon Ball. Do you also want to use the Dragon Ball to achieve immortality? Die this heart. Once King Frieza's wish is fulfilled, he will directly kill all those Namex. Chou-E said with a proud expression, as if he would be immortal. That's all this nonsense, okay? Vegeta said disdainfully after listening to Chou-E's babbling. Vegeta, how dare you be so arrogant? Although King Frieza has temporarily forgiven you, I, Chou-E, won't let you go so easily. Idiot. Vegeta scolded and directly punched Chou-E in the abdomen. Bang. Then, taking advantage of Chou-Yi's painful bending, Vegeta grabbed his head with both hands and hit Chou-Yi's chin with a knee jerk. Dong. Wow, wow, wow. Vegeta glanced at Chou-E, who was howling in pain, and then looked around at the surprised Frisian soldiers. This 164 centimeters height is really too short. If you don't jump up, you won't be able to hit the purple skin monster's chin with just one move. Why don't you make a wish with the divine dragon to grow taller? I originally wanted to directly deal with Chou-E, but I was afraid that those guys from the Kinute team were still at the base and I am not currently a match for Kinute. Vegeta turned around and left, muttering in her heart as she rushed towards the spacecraft launch pad. Damn it. Damn it, Vegeta. Wait for me, I won't let you go. Chou-E took a while to recover and suddenly became furious, rushing to the spacecraft launch pad at the base. In this way, two spacecraft left the planet Frisa 79, one in front and one behind, heading towards the planet Namex. I don't know how long it has been. Somewhere on the plain of Namike. Beside the large crater where a spherical spacecraft landed and collided, Vegeta looked up at the sky. Humph. That purple skin monster still came along. I originally wanted to avoid Frieza and his detectors and quietly find Sun Wukong and his companions, but forget it. It doesn't matter anymore. Vegeta flew to a nearby small mountain and waited quietly with her arms clasped around her chest. Boom. After a while, a spaceship landed and it was the purple skin monster Chou-E who came out of the spaceship. Hee, Vegeta. How dare you wait for me in the same place? Chou-E looked excitedly at Vegeta not far away and said. Stop talking nonsense and die quickly. Purple skin monster. Damn it, Vegeta, I'll soon let you know what pain is. Before Chou-E could finish speaking, he launched a surprise attack on Vegeta, launching a series of air bomb bombings. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, a series of air bombs swept across the location of Vegeta, and the continuous explosions filled the surrounding area with smoke and dust. This beta assimilates the soul of the original, so the soul of the original beta will not run to the underworld. The new beta will not be as arrogant and conceited as the original, and will be relatively more stable. Chapter 2. Battle on Namike. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. Persuading people. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Somewhere on Namex, in an inconspicuous cave. What? Dad is coming. Yo-ho. It's really great. Wukong is still undergoing rigorous training, great. There's hope this time. Sun Wufan and Klin cheered with surprise. It turned out that after Bulma and his father on Earth, Dr. Briff, got in touch and learned that Sun Wukong was expected to arrive at the planet Namike in 6 days. Everyone quickly cheered with joy, realizing how important it is to have a powerful companion on the unfamiliar and dangerous planet of Namek. Is that right? Sun Wukong will arrive at the Nemesis in 6 days, suddenly a cold voice asked. Vegeta appeared coldly inside the cave. As they watched the figure appear, Klin and his companions were immediately stunned on the spot. Beta. Times 2 Klin and Sun Wufan looked incredulously at Vegeta who appeared behind the crowd, never realizing that their hiding place had been found. Bulma and Dandy froze foolishly on the side. Klin asked in confusion, Vegeta, can you also use gas? Isn't that very simple? Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you, I'm just coming to get my reward. Vegeta smiled and said to the few people. Report. Compensation. What do you really want to do? You killed our companions on Earth, and now what compensation do you want from us? Klin's bald head suddenly burst into a cold sweat, and the corners of his mouth trembled as he asked. I said, I won't hurt you now, let alone I saved you just now, didn't I? Let's sit down in the house and talk to you slowly. As Vegeta spoke, she walked to the house where Bulma had transformed the capsule and made a gesture of inviting everyone in. Kling and the others looked at each other, but had no choice but to enter the room honestly. In the capsule house. After eating nearly a few dozen servings of food in Vegeta, I felt like I was 80% full before slowly stopping and looking at the few people sitting restlessly beside me. Slowly and leisurely drinking the drink in his hand, he shared his plans with a few people. What you're saying about the reward is to cooperate with us. Let Dandy take us to find the Elder to enhance our strength. Will he even help us gather all the Dragon Balls? Little Bald Klin asked with a puzzled expression on his face. That's right, currently I can't deal with Frisa at the moment. I need to unite with you two and Sun Wukong to have hope. The God Dragon of the Nemesis can fulfill 3 wishes at a time, give me one that's not excessive. What? Dandy, is it like this? The God Dragon of Namex can fulfill 3 wishes. Klin asked Dandy in surprise. Yes, we can fulfill 3 wishes, but how do you know that the Elder can help us enhance our strength? Dandy asked curiously on the side. This issue is not important, what's important is that we need you to lead the way now. Let the 3 of us go to the Elder's place to enhance our strength in order to deal with Frisa and have hope to save your planet. Moreover, there is also a Dragon Ball on the Elder's side, right? Vegeta calmly responded to Dandy's question. Little Bald Klin turned his head to look at Dandy again. No, that's right, Dandy quickly nodded and said, wondering why this person knew everything. That's no problem then. Prepare and set off later, go early and return early. Vegeta finished speaking and drank the drink in her hand in one breath. Vegeta, I don't know what your purpose is, but if that Frisa is really as powerful as you said, we can temporarily cooperate. The dragon's wish can also be given to you, just hoping that you don't attack Earth again in the future. Little Bald Klin remained silent for a moment and spoke sincerely to Vegeta. Hee, don't worry, maybe I will settle on Earth again in the future. Ah. Klin Wufan and the others were surprised to hear this. Bulma, who witnessed the conversation between a few people on the side, kept staring curiously at Vegeta, wondering if this person didn't seem so bad. He looked pretty good, and didn't feel like he would do the kind of invasion of Earth he did before. Vegeta, who noticed Bulma's gaze, immediately stared straight at Bulma, making her shy and quickly turning her head to avoid her aggressive gaze. Looking up close, this Vegeta is also quite handsome. And that cool temperament, unfortunately it's just that I'm a bit short, but is it true that he said he would settle on Earth? Burma kept muttering in her heart and secretly glanced at Vegeta. Burma, isn't she really good? Looking. She is truly the #1 beauty in the hearts of Dragon Ball fans, but I don't have time to pick up girls at the moment. We'll talk about it after the matter with Namex is over, and then we'll have to ask her to help build the gravity chamber. Vegeta looked at Burma with pale purple hair in front of her and thought to herself. Let's go, hurry up and set off. Vegeta said to the Klings when she saw that they had almost finished their repairs. According to the original text, there was also a village with Dragon Balls that was destroyed by Vegeta. But now it should be discovered by the soldiers of the Frisian army, and then Sappo, who cannot find the trace of Vegeta and others, will definitely go to solve it. However, it doesn't matter. Anyway, in the end, all the Dragon Balls need to be collected, and then let the Earth's Dragon Balls resurrect them. Fraser Spaceship Base. In the Hall of Spacecraft 1. You said you haven't found any trace of Doria, so you can only bring back the 6th Dragon Ball first. A short stature sitting in a suspended baby stroller asked a nearby figure. Yes, King Frisa, those 2 Earthlings didn't notice either. The green-haired man standing respectfully on the side quickly explained. Never mind, let's leave them alone. Sappo, go and inform the Kinute team to bring the latest detectors to Namex. Frisa thought for a moment and replied. Sappo asked in surprise, King Frisa, why did you use special forces? Dodoria may have been killed by Vegeta. King Frisa, even so, Sappo, can still deal with Vegeta without the need for special forces, right? I have a bad feeling. Just now, I was thinking that the powerful scion we trained seems to be going against us. I thought it was Vegeta, but now I don't think it's him. Frisa said with a somewhat anxious expression, always feeling like she was about to encounter something terrifying. King Frisa, you have been too worried. The Scion people only have the one on Earth besides Vegeta, and he is not as powerful as Vegeta. Are you saying my premonition is not correct? Hurry up and inform the Kinute team. Frisa stared coldly at Sappo and said. Obey me. Sappo felt the murderous aura in Frisa's eyes, and suddenly broke out in a cold sweat, quickly responding. Chapter 4. The Elder of Namex. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Somewhere on a remote plain of Namike, a stone mountain stands tall on the plain. On the top of the mountain stands a white building, and on the second floor of the building, a large elderly Namex is sitting on a chair, taking a nap. Suddenly, it seemed to sense something and turned to look at the young nemesis beside him. Nelu, go outside and welcome Dandy and others. Yes, Elder. The young Namemaker respectfully responded. The young Namiko man arrived outside the building and waited for a while before seeing several people flying towards this place in the distance. It was the Vegeta group who arrived after several hours of long-distance flight. Ahead is the residence of the Elder, Nelu is waiting for us there. Dandy, held by Vegeta, quickly reminded. Vegeta, disgusted by Dandy's slow flying speed, directly carried him on the flight. Finally arrived, this elder lives really far away. Is that right, Wufan? Klin and son Wufan couldn't withstand such a long high-speed flight. Nelu said to Dandy, Dandy, you have finally arrived. The elder is waiting for you upstairs. Our village was attacked, thanks to these 2 Earthlings who saved me. The elder probably understands all these things. Let's go in with me first. Little bald Klin and son Wufan looked at the young Nelu, a nemesis, with a surprised expression on their faces. Wufan, do you think this Nelu's nemesis is similar to Bike? Klin whispered beside Wufan's ear. Yes, very much like Uncle Bick, almost the same. Wufan also stared at Nelu, who was very similar to Bike. Vegeta, Klin, and son Wufan followed Dandy and Neru in to meet the elder. Welcome, guests from all over the world, And this Scion gentleman. The large elder politely said to the few people. Wow. What a huge nemesis. Little bald Klin and Sun Wufan were surprised when they saw the huge elder and quickly sighed. Hee hee. I know a bit about the general situation. Earthlings, thank you for helping Dandy. You don't need to be polite, it's just a matter of lifting a finger. Klin and Wufan quickly responded politely. Klin and Wufan had a conversation with the elder, and when they heard that Bike had been killed by Vegeta and Naba, they looked at Vegeta with confusion. Quickly asked Klin to stand next to him, placing his big hand directly on Klin's head, and learning about what happened on Earth from Klin's memory. I see, stupid guy. He split his power in half. If he could regroup, he might not die. Together. Clinton said with confusion. Earthlings, you are very kind. I am willing to help you. Take this Dragon Ball, but your wishes may not come true. As the elder spoke, he took the Dragon Ball from the top of the seat and handed it to Klin. Why? Kling asked hastily. I have only a few days left in my lifespan. Can you retrieve the Dragon Ball in such a short time? Otherwise, the Dragon Ball will disappear with my death. The elder sighed and said. Is that so? Alright, let's forget about this for now. We will protect this Dragon Ball and never let Frisa succeed. I can't move now either. If Frisa invades, Neru can't resist either. Let me help you stimulate the potential power in your body. After the elder finished speaking, he put his hand on Clint's head again. After a few seconds, Clint suddenly felt a surge of strength all over his body, and he felt his strength instantly increase a lot. Wow! My power has become so powerful. It can really enhance my power. What Vegeta said is true. Klin felt the power emanating from his entire body and couldn't help but exclaim loudly. Subsequently, the elder also stimulated the potential of Sun Wufan, and in an instant, Sun Wufan's power was greatly enhanced. Sun Wufan looked at his hands incredulously, feeling the surging force inside his body. The elder looked at Vegeta and, after thinking for a moment, directly asked him why he knew he could help unleash his potential, and why he knew that the divine dragon of Namike could fulfill 3 wishes. Vegeta smiled but did not answer. Never mind, since you don't want to answer, even though you did something bad on Earth before, you haven't harmed my children since you came to Namike. I also want to thank you for helping my people. The elder finished speaking and asked Vegeta to stand next to him. The elder felt that the current Vegeta was not as full of evil as Klin's memory. Although her personality was still cold, she exuded a peaceful aura all over her body. The speed of this transformation is too abnormal, but as long as he is well-intentioned, he is indeed helping the Namex people, and there is no need to dwell on anything else. I remind you not to try to peep into my memories, otherwise I will turn my back. After warning the elder, Vegeta stood straight beside him. Vegeta really doesn't want the secret of being a traveler to be known, even for someone who is about to die. Who knows if he will expose himself in the underworld? Hee hee. Don't worry, I won't do this. The elder smiled and put his big hand directly on Vegeta's shoulder. After more than 10 seconds, Vegeta felt a powerful force burst out from within her body, and suddenly an invisible and powerful energy struck the people and things around her. At this moment, the elder's hand slowly moved away from Vegeta's shoulder. Who? The elder seemed to have expended a lot of physical energy to help Vegeta unleash her potential, and quickly gasped for breath. Vegeta slowly gathered his strength, feeling that his strength had never been stronger before, and excitedly clenched his fists. Quickly summon your own attribute panel and look at the combat power column. Combat power, 700,000. It's unbelievable that my combat power has increased by almost 10 times. Vegeta was extremely excited in her heart, and her mouth was grinning uncontrollably. Even Vegeta herself did not expect this wave of improvement. Originally, based on the abilities of the elder and her current combat power, it would be almost enough to increase it by 5 times. I didn't expect that as a traveler, my potential could be so high. This kind of combat power, even if facing the first form of Frisa, is not afraid at all, but it is powerless for the transformation of several forms after Frisa. Klin and Wufan on the side were also stunned by the power of Vegeta, thinking to themselves that this power looked even more terrifying than that Frisa, and there seemed to be hope in retrieving other Dragon Balls. But I am also afraid that Vegeta's powerful power will cause irreparable damage to the Earth. Chapter 5. Strength Test. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Who? Mr. Vegeta, your potential is truly admirable. This time, our tribe can be saved. The elder respectfully flattered as he watched Vegeta's strength greatly increase. Vegeta was feeling the power inside her body, and upon hearing the words of the elder, she shook her head and spoke. Not enough. This power is not enough to deal with Frisa. What? Upon hearing Vegeta's answer, everyone present was truly surprised. How could it be? Is Frisa's power even stronger than you are now? Little bald Klin's face was full of confusion. That's right, the current Frisa is not his true face. His true strength is not even a match for me, even if it's 100 now. Vegeta said calmly. Ah. You're joking. How could there be such terrifying monsters in the world? Upon hearing Vegeta's words, Klin felt as if he had lost all his strength and couldn't even hold the Dragon Ball in his hand, so he suddenly fell to the ground. Fortunately, Wufan, who was standing by, quickly caught the Dragon Ball with his eyes and hands. Vegeta looked at the crowd who had been hit, and the atmosphere around was as quiet as death. So I mentioned before that cooperation is needed. As long as Kakarot arrives, there is hope, said Vegeta slowly. Really? As long as Dad comes, he can defeat Frisa, right? Upon hearing Vegeta's high evaluation of Sun Wukong, Sun Wufan immediately asked with excitement on his face. As soon as Klin heard that Sun Wukong was there, he had a hope of defeating Frisa, and he immediately regained his spirit. He believed that Sun Wukong had this strength and could create miracles every time. Elder Nerudandi, the three Namex people, also regained their radiance upon hearing Vegeta's words. However, you cannot rely entirely on Kakarot. After returning, I will train you and try to improve your strength as much as possible before Kakarot arrives. Vegeta looked at the two of them recovering their spirits and spoke coldly. Dandy, you can also unleash your potential and follow us back. When practicing, you need your healing ability. Vegeta looked at Dandy standing foolishly beside her and said. Ah. Do I also want it? Dandy asked with a question mark on his face. Upon hearing this, the elder also said, Dandy, why don't you go back together and contribute to saving our people? Next, Dandy was also inspired by the elder's potential, mainly improving his healing ability. After bidding farewell to the elder, Vegeta returned to the location of Burma with a few people. Due to the improvement of everyone's strength, they returned much faster than before and soon returned to the cave where Burma was hiding. Time flows like water in the blink of an eye. Vegeta and her companions had unleashed their potential from the elder of Namike, and it had been almost 5 days since they returned to Bulma's side. In the past few days, after becoming familiar with and mastering her surging combat power, Vegeta began training Klin and Sun Wufan. Although the two of them may seem too weak in the eyes of current Vegeta, they can at least be used as companions for training, allowing them to have more self-protection abilities in future battles. On that day, after being ravaged by Vegeta, Klin and Wufan ultimately fell to the ground and couldn't get up. Dandy, who was guarding on the side, was about to come forward and help the two recover from their injuries, but they quickly refused. Dandy suddenly had a question mark on his face. Why don't these two people receive treatment? Is it not painful on the body? In fact, the main reason why the two people do not receive treatment is that as soon as Dandy treats their injuries, they will be sent to training by Vegeta. What sounds good is training, and what sounds bad is being beaten up as a sandbag. The two of them were beaten throughout the entire process, and they really had no fighting power. However, after several days of training with Vegeta, the two not only stabilized their previously skyrocketing strength. They have also improved their combat effectiveness to some extent, and their combat awareness and cooperation have also been greatly enhanced. Vegeta looked at the two people lying on the ground without paying any attention to them, and walked directly to Burma, who was reading on the side. Vegeta said to Burma, "Burma, have you helped me modify the new detector I gave you? Vegeta, can you be more polite when you talk to me next time? At least you still beg me. It's cold and lacks any human touch." Burma put down the book in her hand and rolled her eyes to give it to Vegeta. But he still stood up and took out a handheld detector from the capsule house, handing it to Vegeta. "I didn't bring any tools or materials when I came to Namike Star, so I can only help you change the ear-hanging type to a handheld type. The volume has increased a lot, but the maximum value that can detect combat power can reach 5 million. Burma shrugged helplessly and said, "It doesn't matter, for now it's sufficient." Vegeta took the detector from Burma's hand. If there are enough materials and tools, I can help you create a limit of 1 billion. If you don't require small and portable size, it's not a problem to create a limit of up to 10 billion. Burma said proudly, holding her chest in both hands, with a quick expression of praise. That's great. She is truly the first genius scientist and beauty in the universe. Miss Burma. Vegeta looked at this and complimented prominently. No matter what, she was also trying to coax her woman. When Burma heard Vegeta praise her so much, she immediately said with satisfaction, where, just average hahaha. Vegeta ignored Burma and walked alone to the side to study the detector. Klin and Wufan, who were lying on the ground, saw this and quickly asked Dandy to help with treatment, so they went directly to Vegeta's side to study the detector together. Klin and Sun Wufan also want to know how high their combat power is now. Next, the three of them take turns using detectors to test their respective combat power values. Vegeta. Around 720,000 yuan. Sun Wufan. About 30,000 yuan. Klin. About 20,000. Vegeta looked at the comparison between the values of the detector and the combat power values on the attribute panel, and there was basically no difference, but her own attribute panel should be more accurate. It is difficult to improve without a gravity chamber when the combat power reaches a height of nearly 1 million. For the behavior of using the Scion near-death resurrection in combat power buff. Vegeta said that it is too harmful to the body and belongs to the potential for early overdraft. It is better not to use it unless absolutely necessary. It is still reliable to slowly practice in the gravity chamber, mainly because Vegeta herself is afraid of pain. On the contrary, Klin and Wufan's current combat power is still relatively low. After training in the past few days, they can still slightly increase their combat power, which has improved compared to the two in the original work. While Klin and Wufan were chatting, Vegeta suddenly noticed 5 atmospheres flying towards the planet Namex. Looking up at the sky, I noticed 5 spaceships landing in a certain direction. Vegeta thought to herself, it seems that the Keanu and the others have arrived, so Sun Wukong should also be arriving soon. After thinking for a while, Vegeta let Burma and Dandy hide and slowly rushed towards the landing place where Kinute and others landed, taking Klingo's food and Dragon Ball with her. The three of them rushed along and discussed the next plan. Chapter 6. Kinute Squadron. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Vegeta, is the Kinute team really as powerful as you said? Will Gofen and I be dragging our feet? Klin asked with some concern. Vegeta didn't answer Klin because several figures were rushing towards their positions in the distance, blocking them in the blink of an eye. Lycum. Bart. Gus. Galudo. Keanu. The Kinute team is on stage X5. It was the 5-man team of the Kinute team that landed in front of and behind a few members of Vegeta, and immediately put on a sharp-eyed appearance. Vegeta looked at the performance of the funny 5 with a novel expression on her face, even more comical than in previous anime. Yo. Hello. Vegeta. The strange person in charge of purple skin greeted Vegeta. Is that the last Dragon Ball in your hand? Give it to me. Vegeta. Vegeta looked at the strange person in front of her with a smile and said, Keanu, do you want the Dragon Ball? Then I'll give it to you. Then he threw the Dragon Ball directly to the leader Captain Keanu. Anyway, according to the plan, give them the Dragon Ball first. During this time, when Frisa discovers that he cannot summon the Divine Dragon and leaves to search for the Elder. Just take care of Keanu and others and grab the Dragon Ball back. You're quite sensible, but I still have to send you to hell, Vegeta. Be good and suffer. Captain Keanu continued with the Dragon Ball and sneered. Captain, I disagree. It's always you who stands out. It's also our turn to take action first. That's it. That's it. A few younger brothers next to Captain Keanu hurriedly said. Captain Keanu saw several little brothers complaining and had no choice but to bring their last Dragon Ball to Frisa's side. The four little brothers directly guessed the order of the battle. The winner, just like the original work, is the silly big Lycum, and the second one is the dwarf Geludo who has superpowers. Vegeta decided to test the strength of Sun Wufan and Klin, and let Klin and Wufan take action against Geludo, while she watched from the sidelines. As expected, there was no need for Vegeta to take action. I followed Vegeta's practice for a few days. Klin and Wufan's current combat power can easily defeat Geludo, and even superpowers cannot control both of them at the same time. Oh my, Geludo was actually defeated by those two little ghosts. Damn it. Sigh. With one person missing, Captain Keanu can only redesign a four-person combat posture. The other three members of the Kinute team were also surprised by the fighting power of Klin and Wufan when they saw this situation. However, what excites several people more than surprise is that the enemy this time is more resistant to beating, and it is not so easy to be killed by a few people. A silly big guy with short red hair stood up and shouted at Vegeta. Vegeta. It's our turn now. Let Uncle like him and you have fun. Vegeta, on the other hand, remained unresponsive, holding her chest in both hands and looking up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. Lycum saw that Vegeta had no reaction, and his arrogant attitude made his veins bulge on his forehead, so he rushed towards Vegeta with all his might. However, Klin and Wufan suddenly stopped Lycum on the side. The two of them shouted at him, "Stupid guy, let's be your opponents." Oh. Two overestimated guys, okay. I'll show you the true strength of the Kinute team. Lycum stared at the two and grinned. But this has made the other two Special Operations team members dissatisfied. Why are all your opponents Lycum? Those two little ghosts are ours. Lycum could only pretend to be helpless and say, maybe I'm popular, there's nothing I can do. Ha ha ha. Remember to treat us to chocolate ice cream after finishing, Nalicum. Ha ha ha, it's a small idea, no problem. Klin and Wufan took advantage of Lycum's idle conversation while flashing in front of him, their cooperation was impeccable. Almost at the same time, he punched Lycum and hit him firmly in the abdomen. The strong impact instantly knocked Lycum's massive body away, landing heavily on the ground in the distance. Subsequently, Klin and Sun Wufan quickly launched a more fierce attack. Klin's hands gathered together to gather a powerful energy ball, and a powerful turtle-style Qigong was ready to be unleashed. Sun Wufan followed closely behind, raising his palms above his head to release the magic flash. Guebwa Qigong. Magic Flash. The light waves of Guebwa Qigong and Magic Flash simultaneously bombarded Lycum. Lycum seemed powerless under this fierce attack and could only rely on his body to block two shock waves. Roaming and rumbling for a moment, the explosion was deafening, and a powerful energy wave formed a dazzling beam of light that soared into the sky. Smoke immediately filled the scene, but Klin and Sun Wufan did not stop their attack. They quickly charged towards Lycum and launched a new attack on Lycum, who had not yet reacted. Their fists and feet rained down on Lycum, causing his body to constantly retreat. However, as a warrior with over 40,000 combat power, Lycum quickly regained consciousness and began to take it seriously. He let out a deafening roar, emitting a powerful energy aura throughout his body. He waved his strong arms, blocking the attacks of Klin and Sun Wufan, while striking them with a heavy punch. Klin and Sun Wufan felt unprecedented pressure when facing Lycum, who had unleashed his full strength. I can only resist reluctantly and have been basically in a state of being beaten. Their bodies kept retreating under Lycum's attack, fighting hard but ultimately unable to hold on, and both were knocked to the ground. The game is over. Let me Lycum send you two to the underworld. Ha ha ha. Just as Lycum was preparing to deal with the two, Vegeta, who had been watching, finally took action. In an instant, Vegeta had already appeared in front of Lycum, and he swung a punch into Lycum's abdomen. This strike seemed ordinary, but it instantly caused Lycum's body to lose balance. He painfully took several steps back, but finally couldn't hold on and fell heavily to the ground. Wow! Lycum's abdomen seemed to be torn apart, and the intense pain made him open his mouth and spit out blood all over the ground. His eyes were filled with fear and despair, as if unable to believe the scene before him. I can't believe that Vegeta was so powerful that she lost her resistance with just one punch. Vegeta stood in front of Lycum, coldly looking down at him. He slowly raised his hand and opened his fingers to gather energy, ready to give Lycum his final blow. Lycum's eyes were filled with fear and helplessness, as if begging for mercy, but Vegeta's eyes were as cold as ice, devoid of any mercy or sympathy. Wait! Wait! Boom! Lycum wanted to plead for mercy, but as soon as the words reached his lips, he was immediately annihilated by a Qigong cannon fired by Vegeta. Chapter 7. Sun Wukong arrives at Namike Star. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. How could it be? Vegeta surprisingly eliminated Lycum in just a few seconds. Gis and Bart, who were watching the battle from afar, couldn't believe it and stood still, stunned. However, before he could react, he saw Vegeta, who had easily solved Lycum, disappearing from sight in the blink of an eye. The two of them kept looking around when suddenly they heard the death-like voice of Vegeta coming from behind. Next, it's your two guys' turn. Gis and Bart quickly turned around in fear. Fraser Spaceship Base. Frisa was looking at the Dragon Ball in front of him, worried. He didn't expect that using this Nemesis Dragon Ball would require any special code or similar. It seems that all the Namex on this planet have been killed by themselves. What should we do? Frisa quickly opened the detector to see if there were still surviving Namex to be detected. In the area of 882-9401, it seems like there are still two Namex alive. Great, we haven't attacked there before. Captain Keanu, you and Sappo are here to help me keep an eye on the Dragon Ball. I will personally go there. Frisa turned his head and said to Keanu and Sappo beside him. Yes. Obedience. King Frisa. ×2 Frisa turned around and got into her baby stroller, flying straight towards the sky. At the same time. After easily dealing with Gis and Bart in Vegeta. Just about to bring the unconscious Klin and Sun Wufan back to Bolunga and have Dandy take action to treat them. Suddenly, Vegeta stopped and looked up at the sky. In the distance, a circular black and white spaceship was landing. Sun Wukong, you have finally arrived. The spaceship with the words Capsule Company printed on it slowly landed on a flat ground, and the hatch slowly opened. A man wearing an orange martial arts uniform and a crab hairstyle walked out of the spaceship. Oh, finally we've reached the Nemesis Star. We need to find the three of them right away. I hope Klin, Wufan, and Bulma are all okay. It's Wufan's breath. And Klin. They seem to be injured and their breath is weak. Hold on. I'm here. The crab-headed man instantly rose up and flew towards the location of Klin and Sun Wufan. When the crab-headed man came to Kellen and Wufan's side, he suddenly found Vegeta standing on the side. Suddenly, he spoke up and asked, Vegeta. Why are you here? I didn't notice your anger just now. Hee hee. Kakarot, you've finally arrived. Vegeta said coldly to the crab-headed man. The crab-headed man scratched his head and said, You should still call me Sun Wukong. Carrot is not used to listening. Also, did you hide your breath just now? I never noticed you. When did you learn it? Did you become even more powerful? If you keep talking to me like this, your son and that bald guy may be getting cold. Vegeta said directly when she saw Sun Wukong still chatting with her. Upon hearing these words, Sun Wukong quickly gave Sun Wufan and Klin each a fairy bean. The two of them were lively in an instant, and a carp immediately got up. The two of them, who had recovered, excitedly recounted to Wukong the various things they had experienced on Namike during this period. I see. Vegeta, I don't know why you become like this, but I still want to thank you for helping Klin and Wufan. However, it seems that you have become even stronger. I really want to compete with you now. I feel like you may not be your opponent right now. Sun Wukong looked at Vegeta excitedly and said. I also really want to have a fight with you, but it's not now, there will be opportunities in the future. The top priority now is to grab the Dragon Ball first. Klin and Sun Wufan, you two go bring Dandy over, and Carrot and I will go grab the Dragon Ball first. Vegeta and the two of them gave simple instructions for the next steps, and then went directly to the location of the Frisa spacecraft with Sun Wukong. Fraser Spaceship Base. Captain Keanu and Sappo were chatting aimlessly when they suddenly noticed two figures flying towards them in the distance. It seems that Gis and his team have solved Vegeta, but it took them such a long time. No, why? Captain Keanu noticed something was wrong and quickly activated the detector function. I found that the figure rushing to the horizon was not my own team member, but Vegeta and a man with crab hair on his head. Captain Keanu looked at the two people landing in front of him and quickly asked, Vegeta. How could it be you? Are all my team members being? Vegeta ignored Keanu's questioning. Turning to Sun Wukong, he said, Carrot, give me a chance for you to pick your opponent first, but we need to solve them as soon as possible. We don't have much time left. Sun Wukong was slightly surprised when he heard these words. With Vegeta's kindness, he was able to challenge his opponent first. It seemed that he was really different from Earth at that time. However, Sun Wukong did not hesitate too much and directly chose to deal with Keanu, while Vegeta was surprised by Sappo on the side. Damn Saiyan, how dare you underestimate Captain Keanu. Even if you eliminate all my team members, it's nothing. As long as Captain Keanu is still here, you can form a new Keanu team at any time. Captain Keanu heard that Vegeta and the others were so contemptuous of him, and an unnamed fire immediately surged to the sky. Beep beep beep, you kid, your combat power is only 5,000. Captain Keanu was not in a hurry to take action. As a precaution, he first used a detector to check Goku's combat effectiveness. What, it's only 5,000. Captain Keanu, could you make a mistake? How can you handle your team members with this combat power? Sabo, standing beside him, asked with a shocked expression on his face. It seems that the values displayed on the detector are inaccurate. His combat power can probably increase dramatically at the moment of attack. It is estimated that his combat power should not be less than 60,000. Captain Keanu calmly analyzed. Impossible. How could the Saiyan's combat power reach 60,000? Sappo gritted his teeth and said. There's nothing impossible, he's probably a super genius warrior. This battle should be very interesting. I have to use my true abilities too. Hey! Kid, let Captain Keen show me your skills. See how you dealt with my team members. Captain Keanu said it and immediately put on a fighting posture. Although you have been praising me for my abilities, your team members were not defeated by me, but by Vegeta. Sun Wukong said with a sincere expression. What? It's actually Vegeta. Captain Keanu and Sappo couldn't believe their ears. When did Vegeta become so powerful? That's all for the chat. I don't have time to play around with you guys. Carrot, hurry up and deal with your opponent, or I'll give you no chance to take action. Vegeta couldn't bear their incessant discussions, and as it went on, Frisa was almost back. Chapter 8. Captain Keanu's Transformation Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Vegeta finished speaking, his figure rushed towards Sappo like a lightning bolt. Before Sappo could react, he was punched hard and flew out. Vegeta immediately turned it into ashes with a Qigong cannon. Sun Wukong saw Vegeta's fierce attack and quickly launched an attack on Captain Keanu, otherwise Captain Keanu might have been easily solved by Vegeta. 100,000, Vegeta's combat power skyrocketed from explosive to 100,000 in an instant when he took action. Captain Keanu looked in surprise at the values displayed on the detector. But now there's no time to dwell on these, the crab boy's fist hits like a bullet. Sun Wukong bullied himself forward, and his fists rushed towards Captain Keanu like dense bullets. Captain Keanu's eyes lit up, and he quickly reacted with his rich combat experience. Steadily blocking Sun Wukong's attack, his movements were full of strength, demonstrating his strong defensive ability. In this intense collision, both sides demonstrated astonishing strength and speed. Sun Wukong's movements were as fast as lightning, dazzling, while Captain Keanu's defense was as solid as a rock and impenetrable. Their strength and speed each have their own strengths, forming a situation of evenly matched strength. However, the battle did not last long, and Captain Keanu, with his keen observation, found that Sun Wukong did not seem to have exerted all his strength. He sneered at the corner of his mouth and said, "Kid. You haven't used your true abilities yet, are you looking down on me? Show your true skills and fight me seriously." Sun Wukong smiled slightly upon hearing the words, and a hint of cunning flashed in his eyes. Then take a closer look at your detector and see how much combat power I have. I think your maximum combat power may reach around 100,000. Jiwang Fist. Sun Wukong took a deep breath, his whole body seemed to instantly gather strength, and then burst out suddenly. A powerful aura instantly permeated the entire venue, as if it was a precursor to a storm. Captain Keanu's face slightly changed, and he felt a powerful force. Sun Wukong was surrounded by a red flame. With the enhancement of his aura, Sun Wukong's combat effectiveness also sharply improved. Captain Keanu's detector values flickered wildly, and an astonishing number appeared on it. .180000. That is a more powerful combat power than any warrior Captain Keanu has ever seen. This. How could this be? Is this your true strength? To be honest, my sudden burst of power is even higher than this. What are you saying? Captain Keanu can't believe his ears. Is this kid a Super Saiyan? If you feel like you can't beat me, then leave this planet quickly. I won't take action against you. Sun Wukong said calmly. How could that be? No. Captain Keanu is the most powerful besides King Frisa. Captain Keanu shouted angrily at Sun Wukong. Captain Keanu, faced with such a powerful Sun Wukong, immediately lost his desire to continue fighting, and his mind was in a state of confusion about how to break through this situation. Suddenly, Captain Keanu's spirit flashed, and he remembered his unique skill of pressing the bottom of the box. His expression immediately calmed down. Not far away, Vegeta, who was guarding the Dragon Ball, saw Kinu's performance and smiled slightly at the corner of her mouth. Sun Wukong looked at Captain Keanu with a sly smile on his face and asked inexplicably, "While I haven't changed my mind now, hurry up and leave this planet." "I won't kill you. Kill me." "That's right. You're very powerful. Your combat power far exceeds mine. But I really like your body." Captain Keanu grinned at the corner of his mouth. Sun Wukong didn't understand what Captain Keanu meant when he saw Captain Keanu take off his detector from his head and place it on the ground beside him. Then he punched the area where his heart was located, and in an instant, blood spurted out of his body. Captain Keanu opened his arms again and made a big character pose. Keanu forcefully supported his weak body and shouted 2 words. "Exchange." In an instant, a strong light appeared on Captain Keanu's body, forming a beam of light that rushed towards Sun Wukong, who was still in a daze. The two exchanged bodies as in the original work. Vegeta looked at the two people who had successfully exchanged bodies and a satisfied expression appeared on her face, saying, "Not bad. It's time for me to take action." Captain Keanu, who successfully exchanged bodies with Sun Wukong, had not yet familiarized himself with his new body when he noticed that Vegeta was walking towards him. "Humph, Vegeta. It's just a perfect time to come, let's use you to test my powerful new body." "Wow." Keanu, who had not even finished speaking harshly, was attacked by Vegeta and greeted Captain Keanu with an iron fist in his face. Captain Keanu, who had been heavily attacked, quickly covered his face and tears and snouts welled up. "Damn it, you ambushed me. I was careless for a moment and didn't dodge. Wait for me. Watch me unleash the powerful power of this body." "Ah." Captain Keanu attempted to unleash the powerful power within Sun Wukong's body, but found himself unable to fully unleash his previous abilities. He couldn't understand, thinking that this exchange would make him stronger. However, the situation did not develop according to his expectations. Vegeta sneered, "Kinu, do you think that by occupying Carrot's body, you can gain his power? You're too naive." Vegeta mercilessly launched another attack, with every boxing and every movement filled with strength and precision. Faced with such an opponent, Captain Keanu can only get tired of parrying and cannot fight back at all. His strength is even far below his original level, let alone reaching the height of Sun Wukong. In no time, Captain Keanu was beaten to the ground, with wounds all over his body. He knelt down on the ground, almost unable to move. "Keanu, is that all you can handle?" Vegeta stood in front of Captain Keanu and mercilessly mocked him. Captain Keanu felt immense despair at this moment, and he never expected himself to be so vulnerable now. How can it be repaired? How can it be repaired? Suddenly, Captain Keanu's mind flashed, and he looked at Vegeta, who had beaten him half to death, as if he had thought of something again. "Damn Vegeta, how powerful. I've decided. This time I want to exchange your body." Captain Keanu whispered in his heart. "Vegeta. Let me go, I'll give you the Dragon Ball right now, and then I'll leave Namex immediately." "Oh. Really?" "Of course," Keanu said, "one thing or two. Then I can consider." Captain Keanu watched as Vegeta gradually relaxed his guard, knowing that the time had come. "Vegeta, your body is mine now, ha ha ha. Change body." Chapter 9. Divine Dragon Bolunga. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Captain Keanu saw that the timing was approaching and directly used the body-changing skill against Vegeta. "Not good. Be careful, Vegeta." Sun Wukong, who was seriously injured, quickly spoke up and rushed towards Vegeta. But seeing through Captain Keanu's thoughts, Vegeta was already on guard and had been guiding Captain Keanu to Sun Wukong's position just now. As the changing beam was about to hit Vegeta, Sun Wukong finally blocked her in time, and their bodies were finally swapped back. Vegeta saw Sun Wukong successfully exchange his body. Without giving Captain Keanu another chance to use the transformation technique, he was sent directly to the underworld. Captain Keanu, remember to eat and drink well when you go to the underworld. No. Captain Keanu still wanted to beg for mercy. Bang! A burst of smoke filled the air, and Captain Keanu's body turned into ashes, slowly dissipating in the wind. Vegeta. Why bother? He has already begged for mercy, just let him go and let him leave Namex. Sun Wukong, who was covered in injuries on the side, said with a hint of Madonna's heart. Hee hee. You're still the same, it seems like you haven't suffered enough losses yet. Upon hearing this, Vegeta sneered and said. Vegeta, what do you mean by that? At this moment, Klin and Sun Wufan also arrived with Dandy. With the help of Dandy's healing techniques, Sun Wukong quickly recovered and did not receive treatment in the medical cabin as in the original work. Dandy, this is my dad. Hello Dandy, my name is Sun Wukong. Thank you for your treatment. Sun Wukong and Dandy exchanged pleasantries, while Vegeta, along with Klin and Wufan, placed 7 Dragon Balls in an open space, preparing to summon the Divine Dragon. Sun Wufan and Klin were also extremely excited at this moment. After working hard for so long, they finally gathered 7 dragon beads to summon the Divine Dragon. Many days of hard work were ultimately in vain. As Dandy recited the spell to summon the Divine Dragon, the 7 dragon beads suddenly emitted a dazzling light, and the sky also darkened. The light emitted by the 7 dragon beads gathered and flew towards the sky, instantly transforming into a green divine dragon, Bolunga, which stood hundreds of meters tall. The divine dragon Bolunga in the sky moved his massive body, and his 2 huge red eyes looked towards the position where everyone was. Say your wish. The owner of the 7 Dragon Balls. Within my abilities, I can help you fulfill 3 wishes. The huge divine dragon, Bolunga, spoke in a resounding voice. Everyone looked at the huge dragon in the sky in surprise and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. My first wish is to resurrect all the people on Earth who were killed by the Saiyans. Klin quickly asked Dandy to translate it to Shenlong. But the result, as in the original work, is that the divine dragon of Namike can only resurrect 1 person at a time. The next step is for Bike to communicate with the Realm King, Sun Wukong, and others to resurrect Bike, so that the Dragon Ball on Earth can be used again. But the second wish is not to send Bike to Namike. Vegeta had previously discussed with Klin and others, and had 3 wishes in total. The second wish must be given to herself. Mainly because I'm afraid that the Elder won't be able to fulfill his 3rd wish and his lifespan will disappear, leading to the failure of the Dragon Ball. As for whether Bike can come to Namike, it actually doesn't have much impact. Can the second wish give me the ability to live forever? Vegeta thought for a moment and tentatively asked about this wish. I'm sorry. I can't fulfill this wish. It's beyond my ability, replied the divine dragon Bolunga. It seems that this type of wish can at least be fulfilled by the Dragon Ball Super Dragon, just like Zama's. Please strengthen my body to the most perfect state within the dragon's ability range. No problem, wait a moment. After a slight pause, the divine dragon Bolunga's eyes flickered with a red light. Vegeta suddenly felt as if her body was undergoing changes, trembling uncontrollably as if rapidly undergoing secondary development. Dong dong dong. The heart is also beating rapidly like a powerful engine, and the bones and joints of the whole body are making a beeping sound. Originally only 164 centimeters tall, the growth gradually reached around 180 centimeters. The weight has increased by more than 10 kilograms, and the muscles in various parts are still symmetrical and firm. A furry tail emerged from behind, constantly rolling. The skin becomes tighter, and even one's own breath becomes stronger. Vegeta. Are you? Sun Wukong and others looked shocked as they watched the Vegeta grow taller. Wow! Vegeta, you seem to have grown taller and stronger. I really want to give you a try right away. Sun Wukong stared at Vegeta excitedly. Vegeta ignored everyone and carefully observed the changes in her body. Alright. The second wish has also been fulfilled, and there is one last wish. Speak up. The divine dragon Bolunga urged the way. Divine dragon, the third wish is to teleport the resurrected Namike people, Bike, to Namike. Klin remembered the wish expressed by Bike, who had just communicated with the World King and everyone, and loudly spoke to the divine dragon Polna. Dandy quickly translated the last wish with the divine dragon Polna. Alright. My last wish has been fulfilled, and I'll do it again next time. Suddenly, before the words of the Nemesis dragon could be finished, it disappeared, and the sky returned to normal. 7 dragon beads also turned into stones and fell down. Not good. The elder has passed away. Dandy exclaimed in surprise when he saw the situation before him. Ah! How could it be so fast? The Klings couldn't help but feel a wave of sadness. Sigh. But why didn't you see Bick? Didn't he have time to teleport over? Klin rubbed his bald head and said in confusion. Upon hearing this, Dandy quickly explained, Ah. Maybe he didn't tell the dragon about the location of the teleportation and was randomly teleported to a certain place on the planet Namex. Ah. What's wrong with Wukong? Klin said helplessly, but turned around to find Sun Wukong looking excitedly into the distance. Sun Wukong did not answer him because he sensed a powerful aura approaching and flying at a fast speed. Coming. Sun Wukong suddenly said. Klin asked inexplicably, Wukong, what's here? You damn ants. You are so bold and reckless. How could you turn my dream of not being old or dying into nothing? Suddenly, a cold and angry voice appeared. A strange person with a short stature, 2 pointed horns on both sides of his head, and a thick and sturdy tail behind him appeared not far from the crowd. His face was cold, and his eyes showed a strong ferocity and brutality. His body exuded a cold aura, as if he was about to freeze everything around him. Chapter 10. Angry Frisa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fraser. Klin and Sun Wufan discovered that the person not far away was Frisa, and their hearts suddenly became uneasy. But when I turned my head, I remembered that Wukong was still here, and my suspended heart also relaxed. Vegeta. You, the scion who betrayed our king, are also here. See how I torture you. Frisa stared at Vegeta and gritted his teeth. Vegeta did not respond to Frisa's threat and glanced at him before turning to look at Sun Wukong. Carrot, this time I'll let you take the lead and show off well. Really? I thought you were going to fight me. Hee hee. Sun Wukong's eyes lit up when he heard these words. Hee hee. Of course, I'll go rest for a while first, be careful not to die. After Vegeta finished speaking, she turned around and left with Dandy. Damn it, Vegeta, you're looking for death. Frieza, angered by Vegeta's attitude, shot a beam of death from her index finger towards Vegeta. Pop. The death beam was slapped into the air by Sun Wukong, who flashed forward. Damn it. Are you also a scion? Frieza half squinted his gaze at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong did not respond to Frieza and turned his head to Klin, saying, Klin, you and Wufan should follow Vegeta and the others to stay away first, and Frieza will be dealt with by me. Well. Be careful, Wukong, come on. Dad, I believe you can defeat Fraser. Klin and Wufan hurriedly rushed towards Vegeta's direction. Oh, by the way. Are you the scion who was sent to Earth back then? What's your name? Frieza looked at Sun Wukong in front of him with great interest, and he seemed to find that this scion person looked very similar to the scion person back then. That fearless scion dared to stand alone in front of the army of Frieza. But in the end, he still died in his own hands and was destroyed together with the planet Vegeta. My name is Sun Wukong, but Vegeta and they all call me Carrot. Sun Wukong looked at Frisa with a calm smile in his eyes and said. Kakarot. It's indeed the name of a scion. Seeing how sensible you are, let me tell you a secret before you die. Your home planet, Vegeta, was not actually destroyed by meteorites, but by me alone. He. Frisa sneered. I've heard this from Vegeta. So I'll defeat you. Sun Wukong still answered with a calm smile on his face. Frisa looked at Sun Wukong with a smiling expression all along. Suddenly roaring angrily, you speak shamelessly. Damn saints. I will dismember you in countless pieces. You must die hard. To vent my hatred in my heart. Frisa instantly released all her energy and her body's breath surged. Then he flew over and swung a punch at Sun Wukong, but he didn't expect it to be easily taken by Sun Wukong. Frisa quickly swung another punch, which was easily taken down by Wukong. Faced with Frisa's attack, Sun Wukong appeared very relaxed. He easily caught Frisa's 2 punches and instantly exploded with anger, his whole body's breath rapidly rising. Beep 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 bang. Frisa looked at the data displayed on the detector, and Sun Wukong's combat power skyrocketed all the way. In no time, he directly blew up Frisa's detectors. How could it be? Just a scion, your power is so powerful. Frisa looked at Sun Wukong in surprise. Indeed, I myself was also very surprised and felt a bit unreal. When I first arrived at the Nemesis star, my strength was comparable to what it is now, it was like heaven and earth. Sun Wukong clenched his fist and said with emotion on his face. After his face calmed down, Frisa proudly said, don't be complacent. This king has more power than that. Really? Can you please show it out? Sun Wukong became excited when he heard Frisa's words. Of course. After I transform, let me show you what true power is. Ha! Frisa instantly burst through his battle jacket. Ha! Is this a transformation? Sun Wukong beside him had a question mark on his face. Frisa smiled without responding to Sun Wukong, then clenched his fists with both hands, and the energy emanating from his body grew stronger and stronger. Ha, ah, ah, ah. Frisa couldn't help but shout, and her figure began to change. First, the body, then the limbs are slowly getting bigger and thicker, and finally the head, as well as those black horns, have become as thick and sharp as cow horns. Frisa, who has completed the transformation, is nearly 2.5 meters tall and her aura has increased by more than twice. Sun Wukong looked at the completed transformation of Frisa and exclaimed excitedly, it's so amazing. It's completely different from before. It looks so strong. Frisa sneered and said, ha ha ha. You're scared. It's hard for me to control such a strong force, my current combat power is over 1 million. Upon hearing these words, Sun Wukong did not show any expression of fear. On the contrary, his impatient expression puzzled Frisa. Let's start the competition quickly. I can't wait anymore. Stupid scion, you will regret it. Bang bang. On a plain on Namike, Sun Wukong and Frisa are engaged in a fierce battle. In battle, Sun Wukong was like an agile ape, swiftly weaving between Frisa's attacks. His movements may seem disorganized, but in reality, each strike accurately avoids Frisa's attack and can also launch a counterattack. Frisa's second form is tall and powerful, with more developed muscles and stronger strength. Bang! He waved his huge fist and smashed it towards the ground, causing the entire ground to tremble. However, Sun Wukong leaped lightly and flipped in the air, as if unaffected by ground vibrations. Ha! Sun Wukong suddenly changed his attack direction in the air, merging his feet and striking directly at Frisa's door. Bang! However, Frisa's reaction speed was also extremely fast. He quickly dodged on his side and hit back with a knee. Sun Wukong was powerless in the air and could only bear the blow with force, but he only took a slight step back and did not suffer much damage. Sun Wukong continues to showcase his unique combat style. He sometimes moves at high speeds, making it impossible for Frisa to capture his tracks. Sometimes slow down the movement, causing Frisa to have an illusion, and then launch a deadly attack. After evading Frisa's attack, Sun Wukong suddenly launched an attack from the other side, with a powerful Qigong bullet charging straight towards Frisa. However, Frisa was also unwilling to be outdone and sent out an energy wave to counterattack. Roaming and rumbling two streams of energy collided in the air, emitting a strong glow.